I'm Kevin Goodman. It's my wife, Stacey Goodman. We're the Goodman team with EXP, and we want to thank you for joining us on our channel. If you like what we have to say, be sure and click the like button and follow us so you get the updates.
Yep.
So today we're going to jump right in. We always like to add to the realtor community and enhance the professionalism of the trade. And today we want to talk about luxury listings and how they could be beneficial to you as an agent.
Yep, that's what we're doing today.
All right. So you want to kick it off? You want me to kick it off, Stacey?
You go ahead, Kevin.
All right. So today we're going to talk about the importance of understanding luxury listings and their characteristics. Okay. So one of the big things with luxury listings is price point. Matter of fact, that's in a nutshell for an agent. That's probably the big thing. It could be a 100-acre ranch with a modest house on it, or it could be a 1/10 of an acre lot with a high-end condo on it.
Right. The price point, with it being much higher than normal residential real estate, means you typically don't have to do as many in a year.
That's right. So the paydays are generally further between. You don't sell quite as many properties because it's kind of the nature of the business. There's fewer buyers for a luxury listing, but the thing is when you do sell those properties, you wind up with a bigger payday, so you can afford that longer gap in the revenue stream.
That's true.
So if you're getting a $9,000 payday, you're selling one $300,000 house a month or whatever you're selling. I don't know. Some of you may be selling 5 or 6 a month, but probably the average agent, according to NAR, is selling 6 houses a year.
Yeah.
So we want to make you better than average.
That's true.
Unless you're selling $1 million listings or $2 million listings, then you may be happy at average.
Right.
So that being said, most luxury agents are not average agents. Their level of professionalism is a little higher.
That's true.
They understand the market a little better. They invest more time in studying the market and following what the trends are doing and knowing what economists have to say. Their circle of friends or circle of their networking group is generally a higher, more affluent networking group. So you're rubbing elbows with, as they say, with more affluent people and have an opportunity to grow that business bigger because of you're talking to more people that have disposable income or income at a much higher level than the blue collar worker.
Right. Knowing how to work with these listings can give you a substantial monetary reward.
That's correct. So jumping into that, you start networking with this type of buyer and seller, and
right. Whenever you work with those type listings, it can enhance your reputation within other agents, and then your credibility. If you handle that listing or that buyer and you make that sale, it increases your credibility with other sellers and buyers.
Right. So some of the characteristics of a luxury listing, we kind of briefly touched on them, basically being a higher end property. But let's talk a little bit about what makes them a more higher end property. Some of the things that come to mind are more, maybe a premium location where the dirt alone costs more per square foot.
I know, that is true. We know neighborhoods like that all over Dallas.
Right, where a lot selling for $700,000.
Right.
In our area, you're almost in I say in our area, in our town where we actually reside, you would almost be in a luxury market if you bought a lot in some of the high end areas of Dallas. So
This is true.
North Texas is very diverse, and you see $150,000 properties all the way up to multiple $1 million properties.
Yep.
So today we're kind of looking at those multiple $1 million properties or $1 million plus dollar properties.
Right. Another characteristic could be the finish outs or the architecture.
Or the views.
The views.
Except, you think about Lakewood, for example. It's off White Rock Lake. You get something that's got a view of the lake, and it's $1 million higher.
That's true.
Than something that's further over that doesn't have a view of the lake.
Yep.
So views and finish outs, architectural, and and that's a funny when you bring up architecture and design. Architecture and design kind of go hand in hand. When you get into some of these high-end houses, these luxury houses, you get fixtures that remind you of when we were growing up. And it's funny, but styles cycle, even our clothing styles cycle, and homes tend to be at the front of the cycle, where first-time homebuyer stuff or first-time or less than luxury kind of comes at the end of the cycle. So usually by the time luxury's been using gold fixtures or brass fixtures or squared doorknobs, and
it trickles down to the builders that pick up that's what the trend is now. And so that's how it goes. It'll start with the luxury, and then it kind of trickles down to the new builds. And so those builders pick up those designs, and I think that's where you're going with that.
That's exactly where I was going. So my point is by the time it trickles down to the
it's no longer
to the spec house, it's no longer used in the luxury. The luxury homes have moved on to something different.
That's true.
So it's a interesting concept, interesting that things work that way.
Yep.
But so moving on, we're talking about characteristics of a luxury house. Privacy and security are some characteristics. Even some of these neighborhoods have exclusive amenities where maybe it's on the golf course, and you get to use the golf course for as part of the package of owning the home there, or it's part of the homeowners association fees and such. The clubhouse, or
right.
The broader you go, the cheaper the house you go, the broader the buyer is, the broader those amenities get. But when you get into some luxury, luxury homes, maybe it's a exclusive clubhouse in that neighborhood.
Yep.
A lot of the luxury homes are very customized.
Right. Some of them have wine cellars and theaters and private docks on the lake, or water access.
Right. And most luxury homes have some rarity about them, meaning like we talked about earlier, the lots are higher because there's higher density. So it's a higher density of population. So there's the availability is more rare. So
maybe they're in they back up to a golf course. We did a tour of one recently that backed up to a golf course. There wasn't very many homes in the neighborhood. It was gated, but all of the homes backed up to the green. So
yeah, and the ones that were in the neighborhood sold for less than the ones that did, right, because the rarity of the location. And it doesn't necessarily mean the rarity of location, but that's one of the things. Some of them are features.
Right.
So another thing could be the investment potential when you're putting money into a house in these neighborhoods. The appreciation and the demand for these houses is generally pretty steady.
Right.
Where economy has a wider effect on spec houses or houses that are lower end.
Right. Luxury homes are typically listed in the neighborhoods are different. They have, I mean, I hate to use the words high quality neighborhood, but usually the schools are more exclusive. Their ratings are higher. Their infrastructures are better maintained. Their proximity to amenities like downtown or shopping or restaurants are a little bit better.
Yeah. And most of these neighborhoods are prestigious neighborhoods.
That's true.
If you say it's kind of like saying a certain actor or something like that. Oh yeah, we grew up together. No, it's prestigious. It tickles the ear.
Right. We're name dropping.
So some of the primary differences between, we've been talking about features and such. Let's talk about primary differences other than price, obviously,
right,
between normal listings and
residential listings.
Yeah, and luxury. Yeah. So some of the differences could be that, like I said, prices is a given. Exclusive locations, we talked about that. We said that luxury is generally an exclusive location, like lakefront or golf course, or maybe even in the heart of a major metropolis.
Right.
Normal listings are wherever they can find dirt to build them. That's where they're going to put them. So the locations are generally more prestigious, more right, sought after. A lot of them have bigger square footage houses. And the normal in a normal neighborhood, you might have a 1,800 square foot house, where in a luxury neighborhood, those houses start at 3,500 square feet.
Right.
And go up to tens of thousands of square feet in some neighborhoods.
Yep. The amenities are different. In the luxury properties, the fixtures and the finish outs are typically a lot different than a normal residential neighborhood, because unless even in the older neighborhoods, they're all kind of the same. They have the same builder, and so the finish outs, unless they're not as customized.
Right. It goes back to what we were saying earlier, that they're following a trend, but they're on the backside of a trend generally. And part of that, builders recognize it, so demand goes up for it. The manufacturer of the fixture that's the demand has went up for, they figure a way to make it look similar but cheap, and I say cheap in a good, not cheap,
just less expensive.
So they build similar products, similar looking products for less money, that go into spec homes. So that's part of the reason that they're different.
Yep.
Because the quality of the part is a lower quality part.
Right. And that segues into the quality and craftsmanship of a normal neighborhood. And I'm not even talking about just tract homes. I'm just talking about a normal, maybe an older neighborhood. All the houses tend to look the same and the fixtures are the same. And in a more luxury neighborhood, they tend to be more customized.
Yeah, your luxurious neighborhoods are.
Yeah.
Even the number of houses available become much less.
Yep.
So now part of that's because the buyer pool is less. There's less people that have the ability to purchase a house like that. But bottom line is that's one of the big differences, is that it's a rarity.
Right.
There's fewer of them, and people that can afford them are out there trying to buy them. So it keeps the demand up.
Right. And we just touched on the customization. The luxury homes offer a greater customization options. It allows them to tailor the property to their specific needs, where neighborhoods where if it's not a custom home, they are like every other house. It's the same fixtures, it's the same features, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a difference in how they're built.
That's right. So buyer demographics is another thing to touch on, which demographics can be a wide range, but this is more economic demographics, where like we said earlier, there's just fewer people with the kind of money to buy that it takes to purchase and maintain a $1 million or multi-million-dollar home. You know, you think about just the holding cost. If you pay cash for a $1.5 million house in Lakewood, you're gonna have a $1,500 a month tax bill.
Right.
You slap me with a $1,500 a month tax bill, I'm gonna sell because I ain't putting up with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a huge difference, and the regular listings, they attract a broader range of potential buyers.
Right, first time home buyers, upsizers, downsizers.
Yep.
You could the blue collar workers, us folks that are out there in the trenches every day.
Yep.
So, some insights on marketing techniques for luxury listings. Let's talk about that, Stacey. What do you got there?
So usually with luxury listings, they're going to require, all listings require you to show the listing in the best light. But with a luxury listing, the houses are bigger. You can do, multiple photographers. You can do drone shots, video, but you're going to do that for all your listings anyway, probably. But it's a little bit different. It's a little more tailored, and it's a little more custom with a luxury listing.
Right. So with luxury photography, you may take some pictures, or you may have your photographer highlight specific features that you wouldn't have to highlight in a normal house.
Right, because you want this house to stand. You want to make sure that it stands apart from all the others. So you're going to maybe highlight that pool or the crown molding or whatever the difference is, the wine cellar, or whatever the feature is of that house.
Right. So you think about it, and if you see it in a magazine or on an online publication, or highlighted in Housewives of New York City, or whatever the current trend is for
Marketing?
no, current trend is for entertainment. You may see it on a movie or whatever, and it drives up demand for certain things. So typically with luxury listings, those items that are in higher demand, those are the things that you want to highlight. So
it may have an amazing outdoor space. So those are things you're going to highlight. You're going to make sure that your photographer, you may have multiple photographers for a larger house. Make sure that you have a videographer. They're going to use different lighting. They're going to highlight
those rare features.
All those rare features in the house.
Yeah. Virtual tours is another important part of luxury listings, right, highlighting.
Because in luxury, a lot of times, and the price point, you may have people moving from across country, from other countries. And so you need the virtual videos, you need the walkthroughs, you need all of the things that you can put it out there and highlight it online, so that people that may not be able to see it in person can see all of the pretty features of the house.
That's right. Yeah. So your buyers may not even be buying a house. This could be a second or third house, to be honest.
Right.
So they're a lot of times with luxury, they're at least starting their search from afar.
Right. Drone photography is going to be really important for most people, so they can see where the proximity, the house from above, what the features are, the outside features.
And then there are those that you want to have some printed material, some really high quality brochures, not something printed off your printer,
right?
But some high quality brochures that you leave in the home for buyers that walk through with their agent to take away with them, or buyers that come through your open house to take away with them. And these should be really good, high quality brochures or publications that that highlight the features of the house that you've highlighted on MLS.
Right. And so you're also going to want to make sure that you do targeted online advertising for your luxury listing.
That's right. You need to know your buyer.
Yep.
So you gotta highlight you got to be able to know your buyer to hit them with that targeted marketing.
Yep.
Something else that's really good with luxury real estate is and we offer this is each luxury listing gets its own website.
Yep, we do. We have all those tools available.
Social media marketing. In today's world, y'all, you gotta promote your listings on. I'm not a big. I know I'm not going there. Never mind. Anyway, you promote your listings on social media. And be sure and get on multiple
platforms. You need to, because not everybody's on every platform, so you have to hit them all with your listings to make sure they're advertised sufficiently across all platforms.
That's right.
Yep.
Something else you can do is email marketing. Email marketing, while it's not as popular, you kind of all marketing phases out.
Right. But right now we're seeing a lot of email marketing within the brokerages. You send out those blast emails and it sends them everywhere, all across the Metroplex. And you may come across one. Oh, I have a buyer for that one.
Yeah, and another thing you can do is networking and events. So you can network with professionals that are affluent enough to purchase a property like this, or maybe they've got friends that are affluent enough. You do events in the neighborhood that promote your property, your listing, so that maybe some of the neighborhood or the neighbors can promote it to some of their friends.
Right. Another thing is getting help to promote your listing. So it's like influencer marketing. You know somebody that is really good with it on social media, and you ask them to help you promote your property. So
that's right. Yeah. And a lot of times, all this we're talking about luxury listings and luxury properties. There's a certain amount of prestige that goes with owning a luxury home.
Yep.
So, with that, when you grant exclusive access, either through your marketing or maybe it's you reached out to the neighborhood and you've invited them to an exclusive showing, limited showing of a property, it builds a little prestige around that property.
Right.
So the more high end it is, and the more targeted you get, the more prestige and the more anticipation you kind of build. So that's another thing is that exclusive access.
You need to highlight the lifestyle, like the amenities of the neighborhood, the proximity of where the house is. Why should you buy this house in this neighborhood? You market the lifestyle and what it could bring you if you moved into this neighborhood and this house.
That's right. And you partner with it's a good idea to partner with other luxury, other people in the luxury industry.
Right.
Businesses that provide high-end appliances, businesses that provide high-end light fixtures, maybe even financial planners that are managing large portfolios. If you partner with these people and maybe hold some of those limited access events with these people within the neighborhood and within the home, you get that. Again, it's about building that prestige with the house and with the location and those certain buyers.
Right. Another way to market is to host open houses, like exclusive, well-organized open houses. You invite your potential buyers and real estate agents. That's a good way to. I always say open houses are great because you bring the real estate agents in and you do a high-end open house, do something really fun or something really elegant, it brings in the other agents, and then it keeps it top of mind for them. So maybe they have a buyer for it.
That's right. So, in conclusion about marketing, an effective marketing campaign for a luxury listing would include online and offline marketing.
That's right.
It would include networking and collaboration with other professionals that have luxury type clients. It could include some open houses and some exclusive events for that particular property.
Right.
And then there's the networking that you do too that also brings in those luxury buyers.
Yep.
So while we're talking about events and let's talk about the role of an exclusive event and what it means in selling a luxury property.
Well, those are typically, you have those to cater to the needs and desires of affluent buyers and enhance the experience of purchasing a high-end luxury property.
Right, you've got a targeted audience basically.
Yep.
So you know what you're looking for. You know you got to find somebody that's got the budget to handle a luxury property. So we're talking about exclusive events. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about prestige. You've got it goes hand in hand with owning a luxury home. So you got to build that prestige and that maybe there's a local celebrity that you can get to be at your local event with that house.
They like unique and limited opportunities at their events. And they fulfill some desire that they have to be seen as prestigious and
which not only that you trying to think of how I want to say that.
It helps them have like a more personalized experience. It makes them feel what's the word? I guess unique. Like we think
special.
They're special. That's a good word.
Yeah. So everybody likes to feel special.
We do. We all like to feel special.
Just some of us can afford more special than others. So affluent buyers are not just buying a house; they're buying a lifestyle.
That's true.
They're buying the neighborhood because they either want or need the connections with neighbors that are affluent as well.
Yep.
So what do you think about the importance of networking when selling luxury real estate?
Well, I think it's pretty important. You mean networking with other agents?
Well, networking in general. But I mean, we've been talking about things and partnerships and
well, I think it's very important because, as we've said multiple times, your pool of buyers are very small with luxury.
or smaller.
Smaller, not very small, but they're smaller because of the price point. So you have to network. You have to do the open houses for both the agents and the buyers. You have to put yourself out there and make sure that your house is seen. And the only way to do that is network.
Right. Well, plus it opens up the door for other business and opens up the door for future business.
That's true.
Opens up the door for getting that property in front of more people because of more affluent people. The larger number, not the more affluent, but the larger number of affluent people that you talk to, the greater chance of finding the right buyer for that property.
Right. And we're talking about you having a listing and finding a buyer for, but it also, the more you put yourself out there and have these events and do the networking, you're potentially put yourself out there for new listings.
That's right.
More business.
Referrals
For
repeat
other
business.
That's true.
Yeah. So
from not only the other agents, but the buyers and the sellers.
not only that, people see you and see you talking to their financial advisor, see you talking to their banker, see you talking to it's not like seeing you talking to the guy that's changing the tires on their car. You talk to other affluent people and network in those circles, and you become more trusted.
Yep.
Whether it's true or not, you are seen as more trusted.
That's true.
Because I know some snakes that do that, but not going there. It not only that, when you're involved, your market knowledge goes up because you're staying engaged, you're staying involved.
That's
what
true.
else you got?
I don't know. I guess the more you know about the market, the more you know about the listing. You put yourself out there as a problem resolution specialist.
That's right. So the more you network, the more you communicate with people. It's just like anything you do. You're practicing.
That's true, and
so
you're building your knowledge, and
your skills. Whether it be communication skills or what have you, it's the more you do it. Gosh, you've seen some of these early videos.
Yeah.
Not that I've improved much, but they do come off a little easier. That being said, the more you network, the higher your skill level becomes with negotiating, communications, problem resolution.
All the things, all the skills.
Not only that, the more you network, the better reputation you generally get, unless you're not
horrible.
Unless you're not a great person.
You learn knowledge is power. So if you keep abreast of the market in the area that you want to be in, which we're talking about luxury, and you maintain the relationships with the clients in those areas, then again, like you said, your reputation.
Yep. Yeah. So what's your advice for networking within high-end circles, high net worth circles?
Well, first off, you really need to develop a personal brand.
All right. So developing a personal brand, what's your advice there?
You need a professional image. You need to dress the part and make sure that you come off as a professional person. You don't want to. So your image needs to reflect the knowledge and expertise that you have.
That's right. So if you're trying to break into the luxury market and talking about image, I would say that in today's world, you might not wear a suit, but you would probably want to wear a jacket.
Right.
You wouldn't want to come off as being somebody that shows up in flip flops and shorts to list $1 million house or list a multi-million-dollar house.
I mean, at some point they may see you there if you've developed a relationship with this person. You may at some point be a little dressed a little down, but not probably ever flip-flops, and unless you're playing tennis with them.
Well, in tennis and flip-flops.
Golf. Not in flip-flops.
You're at the pool. You're hanging at the pool with them. Then you're wearing your flip-flops.
Yes.
Yeah. But when you're all the time when you're networking is when you're building your brand, and your people are seeing you and you're building that reputation. So you want to look the part.
That's true.
And you want to sound the part. So you need to be educated in the market.
And you need to engage in high-end communities. So attend the events, join the clubs, become a part of the organizations.
Get to know the gatekeepers.
Get to know them. Yep.
So when you think about that, get to know the gatekeepers.
Yep.
So why would getting to know the gatekeepers be important?
Because they know everybody.
Well, not only they know everybody, they control access.
That's true. And we're not talking about literal gatekeepers. We're talking about financial planners. We're talking about their attorneys, the people that they do their business with, and the gatekeepers.
And the gatekeepers. Yeah.
The literal gatekeepers, but you need to know all the people that they know.
Right. So, that kind of goes back to the networking.
That's true.
But the gatekeepers, a lot of times, we're talking about gatekeepers. We've done a video and toured a couple of really high-end houses you mentioned earlier. They were on a golf course. And the listing agent called ahead and said, hey, these folks are going to be coming through. So the gatekeeper, when we pulled up in our EXP car, said, oh, I've been expecting you, because they were literally told that we were going to be there. The guy that told them was a listing agent for that neighborhood. He pretty much controlled the neighborhood.
He had most of the listings there.
So he knew the gatekeepers.
Yep.
And he knew the gatekeepers because he had lived in the neighborhood at one point in the past. So he had built a relationship with the gatekeeper.
Yep. You also have to deliver exceptional service. You're not ever going to get those referrals and be considered the expert if you are just not great at your job.
That's right. And most luxury buyers and sellers demand a level of discretion. They don't want their business out there. They don't want people knowing they're even looking. Now, they might invite those same friends that they don't want knowing about it to their or not their open house, but to their housewarming party or their pool party or whatever.
Right.
Or bar mitzvah. I don't know. Quinceanera. You might get the invite, but they don't want it coming. They don't want their realtor telling their friends that they're out looking.
Right.
So you got to use some discretion when you're representing these folks.
Yep.
Host some exclusive events, whether it's at the clubhouse or a nightclub or whatever. You're selling multi-million-dollar property or million-dollar properties. Spend some of that money. Put it on back into the community and into events that build exclusivity with your clients.
You need to offer value beyond real estate. Like, they're going to have complex financial needs and interests. And you need to offer value. You can point them in the right direction to get where they need to be.
Right. And building these relationships with this type buyers and sellers takes time. So be patient.
Yep. And then make sure that you follow up. That's part of the patience part. But follow up, keep in touch, and basically just be a genuine person. I mean, you want to do that for all your buyers and sellers, but whenever you are a luxury agent, you got to step it up, make it a little more.
Yeah, demonstrate your expertise.
Yep.
If you don't know, don't say, because that makes you look like a fool. But learn things about the neighborhood, learn things about the building style, learn things about the higher end fixtures.
You're going to know what neighborhood they're looking in. Knowledge is power. Learn the neighborhood.
And listen actively.
Yep.
So you don't want to be there watching the bug crawl across the floor while they're talking about the type of commode they want. While it may not be interesting to you, you need to know these things. So, and the conversation may seem less important to you.
You may hear a little tidbit about why they want what they're looking for.
Exactly where I was going.
Yep. It may be something that they just say in passing, and you file it away. Oh, that's why they need this type of house. That's why they want to be in this neighborhood. Could be it's all about the schools. Could be it's all about it's close to something their kid needs or wants to do.
And when you pay attention to those small details like that, it really reflects who you are.
That's true. You're a genuine person. You treat them like genuine people, and they are.
So tips on negotiating a high value deal. What do you got there?
Well, for starters, just what we were talking about earlier, you need to understand their motivations. Like what are they Why do they want to be where they're at?
That's the reason you were listening actively
Yes,
earlier.
yes.
That's right. So another thing we talked about earlier too was market research. Know the market. I mean, know the market. If you don't know the market, study the market.
And that's true for all real estate.
All real
Buyers,
estate.
Yes, all real estate. Doesn't matter price point, know your market. And you need to make sure that you set realistic expectations. And it doesn't matter what the price point on that is either. For all your buyers and sellers, you need to make sure you're all on the same page.
Yep. So highlight unique features
On your luxury listings.
So your luxury listings, so when you're negotiating these high value properties, those need to be considerations that you need to talk about with whether you're on the buyer side or the seller side. These things add value. When you're talking about again, we talked about fixtures earlier. You got $1,000 light fixture or a multiple $1,000 light fixture versus a Home Depot $50 light fixture, it changes the value of the property.
That's true.
So you need to have some of the those discussions you need to have with your seller or you, again, it kind of goes back to knowing the market and knowing what the trends are and knowing what trends and designs are and such. So you know these things and you're able to highlight these unique features during the negotiation process, and you're adding value to your client, whether you're on the buyer side or the seller side. If you know these things, you're adding value.
That's true. And if you're well prepared with all the documentation you need, it highlights about the property, maybe past inspections, all of the paperwork pertaining the property. If you're very well prepared, it'll help your client, whether it be a buyer or a seller.
Right. So also when you're negotiating these high-end properties, you need to think about you need to collaborate with the other agent. Be careful. Don't give away your client's position or say things that are hurtful to your client's position. But if know what the other side's looking for, and that goes with all real estate as well, but more so when you're talking about high-end property. The difference in moving out next week or next month could make or break a deal.
Right. You build a rapport with that other agent, and you both everybody wants the same thing. Buyers want to buy, the seller wants to sell, and the agents want to move on to the next property. And so you build a rapport. It makes the transaction smoother, and it may help in negotiations if you're kind to the other agent.
Right, and not only that, again, goes back to communication skills, and you're creating this communication collaborative effort between you and the other agent. Again, talk about move out dates and such. Closing dates could be just leverage the timing.
That's true.
So figure out what's in everybody's best interest, your clients and your opposing side clients.
And if you're actively listening, then you know what's most important to them, and it helps you negotiate better because you've put you know all the things.
That's right. Don't get emotional.
No.
This is not an emotional process for the agent, or should not be an emotional process. I know a lot of times that agent emotions get in the way.
That's true.
And generally when agent emotions get in the way, they make for a less than pleasant experience for everybody. We're not, as agents, we are not the primary players in a transaction, and we need to remember that.
That's true. Be patient. So a lot of times buyers and sellers, they want it done yesterday. Your buyer may want the answer, the seller may be not giving the answer fast enough, or the other agent may be busy because this may not be their only buyer and seller that they're working for. Just be patient with the process.
That's right. Not only that, Pause. So I wouldn't go anywhere with that one. So
I skipped down because
it's okay. Okay. Counter with justifications. So, if you can't get to this price, or you see there's a negotiation. We're talking about negotiating here. When you aren't agreeing, when your clients aren't agreeing to a particular item or a particular price or a particular close date or whatever, give some explanation. What's the justification for this counter? Don't just arbitrarily say, "Oh, well, no, we're not doing that."
Right. And if it doesn't work out, sometimes you get to a point in negotiations where you're at an impasse and you're not able to move past it. If you have the buyer or the seller, whatever, sometimes you're at a sticking point. You have to have a contingency plan on this is where we're going to be, or, it's not your plan, it's your buyer's or seller's plan, but make sure there's a plan in place where this is it, this is all we're going to do, and then we're just going to walk away. And maybe we walk away and we find they decide to, if you have the buyer, there's a second best.
That's right. Or maybe it's something even better that hits the market. So the contingency, be sure and prepare when you're making offers, or when you're negotiating, prepare your side for that point that there becomes an impasse. So if you prepare early, then it's a lot easier process to walk through. And remember, negotiations it's not always about price.
No.
Price is important.
It is. But
a lot of times there's some terms that need to be met that make your offer more attractive. If you're actively listening and able to communicate well, maybe the move out date's
important to the seller.
It's a cash buy. That's important to the seller, or they're willing to do a partial appraisal waiver, or just what terms are they looking for? And
it's good to talk to the other agent, so then if you have the buyer, what the seller's looking for, and then you can talk to your buyer and you can put that in place ahead of time, so everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're documenting all negotiations. Everything should be done in writing. Nothing should be verbal. Make sure it's in writing.
Yeah.
We always negotiate in writing.
So that's where luxury agents build their worth. It's one thing to be able to market the property. It's one thing to be able to know the forms. It's one thing to have proficiency in knowing what this market's doing. But when you're able to actually negotiate a win-win for buyer and seller, you've got the communication skills. That's where you earn your worth. Is if you went through a hard negotiation where it was a back and forth, and it's a real, I hate to say it like this, but where it's a real fight to get to a point where everybody's happy, then you've proven that you've earned your worth. Right. And everybody kind of when everybody walks away with what they wanted, you've earned your worth.
Yep.
And
our end goal is for the buyer to be happy and the seller to be happy.
And being a good negotiator, that's where that comes in.
That keeps people happy.
Yeah.
So all I can say is, after your negotiations are over with and you've gotten to the end, make sure you follow up and you follow through. You stay engaged during the process, and then after closing, do your follow-up.
Right. So kind of in starting to wrap this up, we've talked about active listening, active listening. And, part of that active listening is you should acknowledge and emphasize that you heard and understand what's being said. Ask some open-ended questions. And again, you got to acknowledge that you understood what was being said. You provide information that would address any objections or obstacles that are in the way.
Offer solutions to the problem. That's part of our job. It's problem solver.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So you got to overcome misconceptions that, you say things and you think it's very clear and you find out that it wasn't as clear as you thought, and you got to be able to overcome those misconceptions, or maybe even misconceptions about a price, or misconceptions about what somebody was looking for, or what they thought the deal was.
You could help do that by highlight the benefits. I mean, you show them the benefit of accepting the offer this way or purchasing the house that way. I mean, it helps everybody be clear.
Yeah. So
it adds value to the transaction.
Part of the adding value is providing multiple options. Whether it be during the negotiation process or maybe even during the showing process. You got to be able to actively listen, know what your client's looking for, and provide multiple options for that particular item.
That's true.
So in conclusion, as a luxury listing agent or a luxury agent, whether you're buyer's agent or listing agent, you need to remember to be actively listing. There I go again.
Listening. You need to actively list too, but you need to listen.
You need to actively list. You need to provide solutions. You need to be in a circle of partners that are luxury partners that help build you up, and you build them up.
Market your brand.
Market your brand. Yep, and engage in the communities that you want to work in.
Yep.
Kevin Goodman, Stacey Goodman, eXp Realty, the Goodman team. Thanks for joining us on our channel. If anything we've said has struck a chord with you, please like and subscribe to our channel. Links are below.
Thank you.